Hey guys, just wanted to do my review of Arrow season 6 episode 21, docket 11 19 43, no 4173, which is supposed to be reference to issue the just more fun comics issue number 73, and the date of which Green Arrow first appeared, which is October 19th of 1941. Kind of wish this went with a simpler title, but anyways, Oliver was captured, handed over to the police by Ricardo Diaz. He's not going on trial. The judge is corrupt, and Felicity, Oliver, and the latter's attorney can't even have a moment to have a converse about how they're going to go about the case because the um, the cop is on Diaz's payroll, and they talk about just taking a plea deal in which he Oliver pleads guilty to manslaughter, but he has to serve 15 years in prison. Um, but he says like, no, I need an acquittal. And as much as like New Team Arrow just kind of hates Oliver's guts, they, especially Renee, just want to. They don't want him to end up in jail, especially Renee, because he just blames himself for putting Oliver in that situation in the first place. And I mean, I get that they're trying to like redeem the character and trying to like bury the hatchet between the teams, but it's just like I feel like it's going to take a lot more than this just for Renee to get back in my to redeem the character in my eyes. And the thing is that he is willing to go and testify and purge, but make a oh god, what's the all three of them decide they're going to perjure themselves when they're called to the witness stand. But in Renee's case, he ends up admitting that Oliver is the Green Arrow. And when Ricardo Diaz like walks into the room and in the courthouse, kind of inconspicuously, or at least to the audience, to the or at least to the people in like a courthouse anyway. I mean, he's kind of like being kind of creepy and walking with Renee, with Zoe, and massaging her shoulders and basically like, silently threatening her to get Renee to confess. And then you have Dinah trying to take the stand, but the prosecutor, who's played by the same actress who played General Hale in Agents of Shield, actually talks about how why would she want to that she would definitely want to cover for Oliver, especially bringing up her whole manhunt of Sean Sonis during I guess like when she was first introduced and killing him, and when she asked like did he kill when the prosecutor asked if she killed him in cold blood, she basically just pleads. She says that I'm pleading the fifth, which makes her look bad. So, and then Oliver is like, I mean, John Diggle's able to. I mean, John Diggle tries to vouch and say like, oh, he's not the Green Arrow. Like I've been his bodyguard for 4 years. But then it's like she brings up, but then the prosecutor brings up the injuries that Diggle sustained, and especially, um, I guess the ones who was, including like the shrapnel in his chest, which is what just drove him to use the drugs that Diaz was producing. So this is what I'll say this right off the bat. This is easily like way better than Trial of the Flash because it looks like they're actually putting up a legitimate kind of fight and exploring all of the options. And it's not he's actually showing determination to not stay out of prison, as opposed to Barry where it says like reveal your identity or don't. And he just says no, I'm not doing that. I guess I'm going to jail, and like that's it. There's like no kind of like there's no like really any kind of like tension behind it. There's not really any kind of tension and just behind the whole thing. And when he finally could when his Oliver's attorney asked like is he the Green Arrow, he just says yes, And he says he just wants to have a normal life. He doesn't want to be thrown in prison, or even he breaks out of prison, become a fugitive, because he thought that he would be able to, retire from this life and settle down with someone like Felicity and William, which is kind of odd considering a few episodes ago he was happy to balance, this with his vigilante life, but he couldn't give it up. He couldn't like give this, give it up because it was like it's something that it would become too much of a part of him, which kind of felt like he was flip flopping. It's great to see Reza back and basically just acknowledge, like she's not an idiot. She knows like what Oliver Queen's doing, and just look, just didn't say anything, look the other way when talking to Felicity, and Felicity being, and the attorney saying like, oh, let's just like take the stance, confess you're the Green Arrow, and let's just make a case of highlighting all the good that you've done. But Oliver insists that he just wants to lie and say he's not the Green Arrow, and then all of a sudden somebody bursts through the ceiling window. It looks like Tommy Merlin dressed as the Green Arrow, who confesses to saying, oh, I faked my death, and Roy Harper took the fall for me, and I couldn't let that happen to Oliver Queen. So he confesses to being the Green Arrow, and he gets arrested and taken, escorted out by the police, all on Diaz's payroll. But then you have Diggle and Renee come in and subdue the cops, and they make their getaway and just realize that it was kind of given away online, but that it is Human Target, Christopher Chance, the CIA agent who took Oliver's place early in season 5 during an assassination attempt on Oliver's life. Help try to cover his tracks, and then you have Laurel, who's being like, I don't know, I guess being manhandled by Diaz for some reason, into saying that you're gonna take the stands and tell and out Oliver as the Green Arrow. But then after some convincing from Quentin saying like, the first step to standing up to Diaz is actually standing up to him. When she has to come and testify, she decides to say, oh, Oliver's not the Green Arrow, it is Tommy Merlin. And in spite of, so even though the jury says that they find Oliver Queen guilty, the judge, who's supposed to be on Diaz's payroll, surprisingly decides that to ignore the guilty verdict and says there's too much conflicting evidence and acquits Oliver. And you found out that Human Target also knocked out and replaced the judge, the corrupt judge, in order to get Oliver acquitted. And he makes this like nice meta joke. He says like, thanks for freeing me and Kaznia, which is like kind of cool action scene we saw at the beginning of the episode. And I deliberately obscured his face so we wouldn't know who it was. He says, don't try and call me for at least another year. I'm glad it's like we're finally, seeing, this story. It was nice, satisfying to finally see Black Siren, just stick up to Renee Ramirez, where she goes in, she shoots down her henchmen and just knocks everybody, and anybody who's still standing, just knocks them out with the canary cry. But somehow he just still seems to have some kind of sonic dampener. I don't know how he got it, but then he's able to use that to subdue Laurel, and then now he said he's going to go with Plan B, which is like kill Oliver Queen and go after his loved ones, which makes you wonder why that wasn't Plan A, because he's the one who kept chastising Hayden James for not trying to kill Oliver when he had the chance. So that's the whole thing. That's the whole problem with Big Bad. They just seem to they keep have like contrived reasons for wanting to toy with wanting to keep the enemies alive. Their enemies alive, just because it's like, oh, it's the title character, he can't die. But it looks like this. I mean, this was kind of spoiled on social media. That I think this. I mean, to be honest, like this was kind of given away on social media that and this is a spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't want to give it away, but on Paul Blackman, they come out on social media saying that he was leaving the show after season at the end of this season. This is the last season, so I think Diaz is going to kill Quentin in some kind of like parallel, because it was foreshadowed in a couple episodes ago where Quentin tried to relate to Black Siren and say, "Oh, I can relate to your situation since I, since I when I was working for Damien Dark, and tried to betray him, I ended up getting my Laurel killed. So it might be a reverse parallel in which Laurel betraying Diaz gets her dad killed, so she has to watch her lose him on two different Earths, and that's probably what causes her to kind of maybe like turn over a new leaf, or at least has become more of like an anti-heroic type. But yeah, like I said, way better than Trial of the Flash. One of the better episodes this season, and I mean, I mean, the whole thing about Renee not apologizing for coming after Oliver with an axe, and Oliver doing most of the apologizing, was probably my other gripe about the episode. But other than that, pretty solid. But what do you guys think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. I'm sorry this is going to be a reaction video, but my last two Flash videos were blocked, and so I might just do a review, stick with reviews for the next couple of, at least for the CW shows, for the next couple of times. But stay tuned, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.